20 years of SkySchool. And I think you can tell it's been that long from the lack of hair I have. Because when I started out, I had a full head. And I suppose people want to know where it all began. And like any good story, it began with a glass of alcohol. And I was luckily invited round to a house party, and it's where I met Giles Cardozo, who is the founder of Parajet. What interested me was the fact that he had this company which made these things called paramotors, which I'd never heard of. I'd never even seen one fly. And he said, how do you fancy taking on the school? I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, we had this thing in Cyprus. We were using it to teach people how to fly. The paramotors we were selling, they were importing these paramotors called the DK Whisper. And he said, I'd love to do that again. And you sound like the perfect guy to do it. So within half an hour, and after a few beers, we were business partners. So no sooner had we agreed to set up this company together than Charlie started teaching me how to ground handle. I remember having about 20-30 minutes of ground handling on top of a hill in Wiltshire, and then pushed off. And after that initial flight, we went out to Cyprus together, which is where I started the school, and I had my first flight on the beach. No helmet, no radio, and I remember taking off and instantly dropping the power and diving towards the sea and go, uh-oh, I understand what this is all about now. Got back on the power, and I managed to climb and fly around for about 10 minutes, and I landed on my feet. And Charlie remarked in his rather casual way, that was the scariest flight I've ever witnessed. Luckily, that wasn't filmed. After that initial kind of learn by doing, I realized you've got to surround yourself with good people. And I think that is what allowed SkySchool to really grow, is because I always sought out people who had the same mindset as me, i.e. they were passionate about flying and also sharing their knowledge and doing it in a way which was professional, safe, and yet fun. It's quite a rare thing what we have. It is like an eclectic family. So in the initial years, by some miracle, people wanted to learn how to fly, and they would make a 5-6 hour flight all the way out to Cyprus, where we had the same weather every day. So then we came back to the UK and set up the school in Wiltshire, around Mere, which is on the doorstep with Parajet. At the same time, we realized we needed the weather, but we needed to be able to be a lot closer to the UK, so we went to Spain. 2007, we found this fantastic airfield north of Barcelona, and I was the chief instructor along with Kester and Dean Eldridge, two just unique individuals who were fantastic instructors. Same time, we had our loyal, well, my first ever student, the loyal chef, Rob, who would make these fantastic meals in the cafe, and we had a really good atmosphere.
So, 20 years on, here at SkySchool. I cannot believe it. 20 years ago, I certainly couldn't have grown this beard. And in the early days of SkySchool, people were coming for my culinary desserts. But now it's all about flying. I remember Alex and myself driving the long-wheeled Land Rover with a caravan that blew its tyre on the French border, and we literally dragged it screaming into Spain, and that was a very funny experience. And yeah, so that was great days, Alex. I remember this party 10 years ago because I had to do all the food for it, and I remember at the end of it, Alex, you three-line whip dictated that you had to be thrown into the swimming pool. So I hope that he gets thrown accordingly into a very wet space.
What's amazing is to think just how much the sport's changed in the 20 years that I've been doing it. When I started out, we all flew high hang point parameters and the engines weren't very reliable. All the wings were basically paragliding wings. Some of them had trimmers on, but the reflex wings weren't really a thing. And since then, things have changed so much. And they've become a lot more reliable, a lot lighter, a lot safer. When I started, we used to start these things on the ground, and wherever you go, you come across people missing a few digits. Luckily, that doesn't happen anymore. We always start on the back. And then just in terms of training, we've trained, I think, about 5,000 people how to fly now. And in that time, our training system has just evolved. It's been refined over those 20 years. One of the things I really like about this sport is to see the number of women that got into it. Because when I started out, there were just no women, hardly any. So that's thanks to the equipment becoming a lot lighter, and also the training systems which have been implemented, allowing anyone, quite almost anyone, from small to tall to thin to large, to be able to fly. So the thing I think I love the most about this business is the people and the journey you go on without realizing it, having met these people through this sport, some of whom end up becoming your best friends, and I can't think of anything else that would allow me to do that.
I remember when we were in Spain and we were celebrating the 10th anniversary, SkySchool 10th anniversary, and at the time we were very pleased and we were thinking life is good, surely things are going to go downhill from now on. No, we were wrong. Since then, SkySchool did not survive but thrive. And since then, we flown so many people, we introduced so many new people to sport, and I hope next 10 years we're gonna make another video like this.
All right, so I started in 2017, right, Zeb?
Yep,
yeah,
it.
2017, and I started in an amazing place called India, in a good way. It was tough, you know. And then I visited Alex again in Italy, and then I started my route inside the SkySchool. Being amazing because I really love to travel. I really love to meet people. It's part of my heart to be in Spain and Portugal and Dolomites and Italy, go to Brazil. Now we're gonna go to Amazonia. So I think I was the little fire was missing in the school. And today we live in the dream, you know. I love to be here. I love to teach. That's my strength. I love teach. I love people. And hands up or I kill you.
I joined SkySchool back in 2018, a year after Ricardo joined. I have two favourite memories that I look back on fondly. One would be Sky Week Brazil, my first time in Brazil with Ricardo. I know he was very proud to take me there and I absolutely loved it. The flying was just incredible, the people were fantastic, the food was amazing. Our time in Ras Al Khaimah, it sounds weird, we didn't do a great deal, but we spent 3 weeks together teaching a few students how to fly in the deserts in the UAE, and I'll always remember that.
What's crazy is the fact that this sport has allowed me to just basically travel the world while doing unbelievably cool trips. Things like flying for heroes, teaching wounded soldiers how to fly, flying up the Rift Valley in Exciter paratrikes for 3 weeks, then flying the length of the UK from John O'Groats to Land's End in less than a week flying through the desert in the Middle East, founding PPG in order to evolve the sport, and then meeting people like Ricardo and Zeba because of it, because they wanted to become instructors and they wanted to share their passion and knowledge for the sport. I mean, really, my words don't do it justice, but I look back and go, wow, I've been lucky. I've been a lucky man. So what's the future? Well, watch this space. 10 years ago, we'd only just started doing these kind of trips, and now we're starting to do more and more Sky Weeks, and that's because there's a bigger community of paramotor pilots out there. We'll always be here for training, but the goal is to train people, equip them, and then take them on fantastic trips. Just next year, 2025, we've got Namibia, which is already fully booked. We've got the Amazon River in Brazil, which is already fully booked. People want to take this sport and use it to really enjoy life, to really travel, to really experience what it can deliver, where you can go, where you can take it. And I think we're only just really scratching the surface as to what you can do. And I'm really excited about the future. Finally, what I want to say is thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been part of the journey, from the start right through to where we are now over the last 20 years. Here's to another 20 years. There are two things which have not changed in 20 years. One, keep it simple, stupid. Two, you can never do enough ground handling.